He was Samuel Smadja,
Good morning.
President of Sahel Tours and Conferences. Good morning, Samuel.
Good morning and shalom from Jerusalem.
Yes, we're in Israel. Samuel, growing up a young man in Israel, a Messianic believer, can you share with us what it was like?
I had the privilege to grow up in a Messianic family, one of a very, very few families in Israel. When I grew up, in the whole country there were maybe 300 families that believed that Yeshua, Jesus, is the Messiah. There's no doubt that it was very hard for the Jewish people to understand that you can be a Jew and believe in Jesus. You have to understand, I grew up after a generation who came out from the Holocaust, who suffered from people who called themselves Christians, quote unquote, and they called themselves Christian, and on the other hand, they persecuted the Jews, they put them in concentration camp and so on. And here comes the small groups and try to tell to the Jewish people that you can be a Jew and believe in Jesus. So our message was not so acceptable. There were some groups that were very against what we had to say and what we stand for, and they persecuted us.
And still are.
And still are. 20 years ago or 30 years ago was much
worse.
Much worse. When I was a young man, they burned my father's car, and they had
Tested your faith.
Yeah, they really tested our faith. But I have to say that the state of Israel was always on our side. Israel is a democracy.
Yeah.
The state of Israel always came and protected us and did everything to avoid those things. But again, our message to the Jewish people is a very hard message. To believe in the man of Nazareth, to believe in Yeshua Jesus, when all they heard from this man or this name was suffering.
Yeah.
And here we as Jews come and proclaim that he's the Messiah. So it wasn't easy.
And so from that, those hard beginnings, you got a vision. God gave you a vision for Sahel Tours to bring believers to the Holy Land. Can you see how that came together for you?
My heart, my wife and my heart was to bring people to the land and to show the Jewish people that not all Christians are what they are used to here in the beginning of last centuries, in the 40s and 50s. And I want to show the people of Israel that there is a new Christianity that loves Israel, that stands with Israel, that believe in the prophecy that God has for Israel in the Bible. They might not agree with everything that Israel does and say politically, but they do stand with Israel. They do stand with the idea that the Jewish people have to come to their own land, and that the Jewish people have to have independence, freedom to practice their faith and religion as a nation.
And in fulfillment of the prophecy,
definitely
to come back,
it has to come.
Bloom again.
We're talking, how can you explain Ezekiel 36, 37, 38, and 39 without seeing the Jewish people coming coming here to the land?
Yeah. And so the journey for you from Sahel Tours in its humble beginnings to where it is now, it's been quite a journey. Is it 16 or 17 years?
20 years.
20 years.
20 years.
Time goes.
And 20 years. It was a very interesting journey. I have to say it was all by the grace of God. God, by His grace and favor, opened us some very interesting doors. And I have to say that the doors are not the common doors like America and Europe. What I'm encouraged is to see people who are coming from the other side of the world, like Australia, New Zealand, Indonesia, Malaysia, to see people who were ex-Muslim in the past and becoming believers in their own countries, and just have the urge and the fire to come, the desire, if I can say, to come here to the land and to see not only where Jesus walked, but also to meet the Jewish people that if once they had a supernatural hate for, now they have a supernatural love for. And the transmission, and they just come here. Yeah, and they come here and they're here to see the miracle that God. And I really believe that the return of the Jewish people to the land is
fulfillment of
It's a
prophecy.
fulfillment, and it's a miracle. It's
Yeah.
the biggest miracle of our generation.
Yeah,
Jews from 105 different countries coming together. One day get up, and they all want to come to live in this part of the world.
yeah.
And as you know, there's not too much things that can attract them here.
Nah, set their hearts desire.
Exactly. So I believe it's a move of
God's
God.
drawing them.
I really believe it's a
Yeah.
move of God.
So I guess over 20 years you must have heard some wonderful testimonies from people that maybe have come for the first time or have come several times, and how God has moved in their heart, changed their perception, really opened their eyes up to Scripture.
I really believe that coming to Israel is not going on a tour. It's not like you go to Paris or to London or to Rome. That's a vacation.
Yeah,
Coming to Israel is really a spiritual journey. When you land,
pilgrimage.
it's a pilgrimage, and when you land here in the country or somewhere on your pilgrimage in your personal life,
Yeah,
and you leave after 10 days or 2 weeks somewhere else.
yeah, absolutely.
And there's no doubt that once you walk in the land, first of all, your first reaction is my faith and my religion is not just a Sunday school story.
Out of a textbook.
It's a reality.
Yeah,
First of all, you see those places that you read all your life, and it's like even going into the third dimension of the Bible.
yeah,
And one pastor, a famous pastor in America, said that 2 weeks in Israel is like a full year in Bible college, because we go from one place to another with the Bible in the hand, and we go into a depth of the Scripture. And I believe that the first reaction is, wow, there's so much I don't know,
yeah.
and there's so much I need to learn. And I believe that people live here with they're encouraged to go dig and to go and dig deeper in their Bible. And I believe that digging deeper in the Bible is the key of our spiritual walk. So if we can achieve
So many layers, isn't there, in
and
Scripture?
if we can achieve that, to give people a hunger and curiosity that their faith is much bigger than what they can imagine.
Yeah,
Number two, I believe that after being in the land, you want to go home and take the light from under the table and you want to influence the people around you. You want to come and proclaim what God did to you in those two
you can't help but want
You
to share
cannot
it.
help it, and I hear it again.
It bubbles out of you.
This tour changed my life. This tour changed my life.
Yeah.
This tour changed my life.
We've had the same thing over
And I believe that after being here in the land, and let's be honest, Israel comes at least once a week on everybody's news channel.
Yeah. One
If
way
you
or
ask me-
another. Yeah.
If you ask me why, I think it's another proof that this place is special.
Yeah.
We don't hear about a province in China every week.
No.
Where you see, I don't know if people realize we're only 7 million people.
Yeah, it's a small
It's,
land.
it's a small neighborhood in China,
Yes.
and we don't hear about them,
No.
but we hear about Israel every week, and usually in a negative way. Usually as the aggressor, usually as a dangerous place to come, and so on. And after you hear, your whole relationship, your whole perspective on the Jewish people and the land is changing. And my prayer is that when people leave here, they're going to go and be a watchman on the wall. They're going to be standing in a gap in prayer for the salvation of Israel, to complete what God has already started by bringing the Jewish people into the land.
Yeah. You mentioned a good point about people's perception of safety. And we hear it all the time back in Australia that people sign up on a tour and then one of their family relatives may say to them, "Are you crazy? You're going there, something might happen to you." But we both know it's a wonderful destination and a safe destination, but there is a percentage of people that do perceive it to be dangerous.
I'll tell you what's the most dangerous thing on the journey to Israel. Is the way from your home to the airport.
I was going to say airline food.
Oh, the airline food.
Yeah.
Israel is a safe place, and there's always something happening in Israel.
Yes.
Let's be honest.
Yeah.
I mean, we can in the morning you can hear that people shot some missiles out from Gaza, but life continues.
Yeah.
And we continue with the tours, and the people on the tours, unless they go in the evening and they open CNN, they don't know that anything happened in Israel.
Nah,
They get
dramatized.
text, they're getting text messages from home. Are you okay? Are you
Yeah.
okay? And they don't understand why
Why
people,
you call? Yeah.
why people
We're
are
having a
texting
wonderful
them
time.
to see when they have a wonderful time. And
Yeah.
that's the whole. And we never take any risk. We never bring them to places where
No.
there is a conflict.
Well, there was issues there last year in Gaza, and I think you sent an email around saying that there was 100,000 people there. Best month ever for Israel tourism,
yes.
and everybody's having
last
a wonderful
October,
blessed
November,
time.
yes.
Yeah,
Last October, November, in Gaza, in the Gaza Strip, people were sitting in bomb shelters, and we here, we had a
Yeah.
normal life, and the
Yeah.
tourism continue. Another thing that people don't realize, that both the Jews and the Arabs are enjoying from tourism.
absolutely.
It's a huge income supplier
Yeah,
for both
and a
people.
vital part of the economy.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So there's no any interest to hurt any tourist
No,
for both sides.
yeah,
And I have to say that on our tours we're going from Israel to the Palestinian authorities and back, and the tourist doesn't even understand the changes and so on.
no.
We're going
Go to
into
Bethlehem or Jericho.
Jericho, we're going in and out,
Yeah.
and it's safe. And
Yeah, and everybody's being blessed through
Yeah.
the whole journey.
yeah.
Yeah. Well, look, I thank you for taking the
And
time.
I can guarantee that the food in Israel
Yeah, it's
is
good.
better than there.
Absolutely, I can
So I hope
guarantee
to
that.
see you here next year in Jerusalem.
Thank you for taking the time to share
Yeah.
this.